What is up, guys? Welcome to another wrestling video, and today I am so excited to bring you another episode of Around Wrasslin. And before we get started, if you could please subscribe. We are trying to hit a goal of 500 subscribers by the end of this year, the year 2021. If we could get to 500 subscribers, oh my gosh, that would be so insane. And I'll make sure to do a special unboxing for you guys when we hit those 500 subscribers, because I know we're going to hit them. We are eventually. So please make sure to hit that subscribe button. But today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to run through multiple stories or anything like that. I think I'm just going to talk about one story in particular, and if you haven't noticed, and everything that I'm wearing, I'm a huge Fiend fan, and something that's been running through my mind recently is, how is the Fiend gonna come back? What exactly is next for him? Because, you know, after he got burned alive by Randy Orton, at the TLC pay-per-view, it's kind of like, you know, okay, well, obviously he took some time off, but how is he gonna return? Is he gonna look any different? Is he gonna have a different type of character? What exactly is in store for him? So I thought it would be a good idea to just talk about how I think Fiend is gonna come back, what is in store for him in the coming months, and what we might be able to expect when he does return. So first, let's start off with what happened on last night's edition of Raw. So Randy Orton was giving a promo about the RKO and how he was going to win the WWE Championship, and then all of a sudden his video cuts out and it goes to the Firefly Funhouse. And then the camera pans down and you see Alexa Bliss with her white contacts that she brought back for the first time in a little while. And she blows some of the ashes across. She picks up a candle and holds it and says some things. But then the camera changes and she's sitting in the middle of a pentagram saying that the Fiend died in the fire, but that he's going to also be reborn. So I found that so super interesting that the WWE was willing to take a risk in, you know, being a Satanist and resurrecting the Fiend in this satanic type of form. You know, I appreciated that kind of risk, and it's super cool to see that they're willing to do these type of things, and I feel like it's a good sign for the future, and that the Fiend is willing to do, or even Alexa herself is willing to do more outlandish things. So the first thing we basically wanted to talk about is, when exactly will the Fiend come back? And the most obvious answer is, will we see him at Elimination Chamber? So we know that Randy Orton is in the Elimination Chamber match. If you watched last night's episode of Raw, you saw that Alexa Bliss appeared on the Thunderdome screens. It confused him quite a bit, and it got him counted out, so that in the gauntlet match, he lost the ability to be able to come out last during the Elimination Chamber match. And so I find that really interesting, because is there really a place for a return in the Elimination Chamber match? If he was going to, he would literally have to appear in the chamber as some kind of, you know, supernatural type thing. And I find that kind of unlikely. You know, I just struggle to see exactly how he's going to come back at Elimination Chamber. Maybe there's some kind of maybe he messes with the match, or he costs Randy Orton the match, and that would make a lot of sense to me. So you could see Fiend costs Randy Orton the match somehow, or Alexa costs Randy Orton the match, costs Randy Orton the match somehow at Elimination Chamber, and that's what finally sets Randy Orton over the top, and then we see Fiend come back. Maybe they do something crazy and they like do Randy Orton versus Alexa Bliss at Fastlane, and that's when you see the Fiend come back. That would be so cool to see, like, you know, see a match build as Randy Orton versus Alexa Bliss. That would be the coolest thing ever. And I think that's obviously not the most probable thing to happen, but if you have Fastlane and you bill, like, how do you bill it? Like, there has to be something in between Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania, and I don't think you want to have Randy Orton fight Bray Wyatt at Fastlane. So maybe the Funhouse version of him, but I feel like you have to save that match. So that's why I have a hard time seeing him come back at Elimination Chamber, even though a lot of people are expecting it. So I think it'll happen sometime after Elimination Chamber. Okay, and the second thing that I'm a bit curious about is Alexa Bliss. So when she was introduced to the whole angle, I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and I still think it's really cool. A lot of people are saying that it's the best thing that WWE has going on right now, and I mean, that makes a lot of sense. She's a great actor. She's really been like just running with her character, and even she's been willing to change up her wrestling, like change up her moves a little bit. Like she doesn't do Twisted Bliss anymore. So I find that to be indicative that this is more of a long-term gimmick for her. This isn't something that she's going to be leaving in the next couple months. So that's why I think Alexa Bliss is here, say at least for, but then I thought to myself, do I see her still with The Fiend in a year? I'm not sure. Like, I could see this carrying on maybe for the next 6 months, but at some point, even though Alexa Bliss has done a great job, and she's doing an awesome job with this, I feel like at some point, this kind of gimmick has to end. Like, she's not always going to be Bray Wyatt's right-hand man. So that's why it's really perplexing to me. Maybe Alexa has to turn on him at some point, or maybe Alexa has to realize that, you know, she's being trapped by him or something like that. There's gonna come a point in time where they split up, but hopefully not anytime soon, because I am really enjoying what they've been putting together. So I'd say I'd give this Alexa Fiend angle maybe 6 months to a year tops, and oh my gosh, I'm hoping that it's closer to that year, because I just love what she's been doing. So then finally, what exactly happens to the Fiend's character when he comes back? Like, I basically see 3 options here for WWE or Bray, because I know he has a lot of say in how the story gets told with his character. I see essentially 3 options. I see the first option being he comes back the exact same. Like, he has the same mask, he has the same gear, he has the same persona, and I really wouldn't mind that. You know, I mean, I fell in love with the original Fiend character, and it's been something that is tremendously over with the fans, and I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him just the way he was. I mean, I don't think it would be the best option, but I mean, I definitely wouldn't be upset if he came back just with his same persona and his same character, because it works and it looks cool, and it's at least for me, I love these type of characters when WWE has them. So I mean, I'm personally really okay with that. And then the second one is that he comes back with a slight appearance change. Like, maybe he has a different mask, or he has different ring gear, or he has some kind of makeup / ring gear that reflects the burns that Randy Orton inflicted upon him. To me, I find this to be the most likely of all the scenarios. I think we'll probably see a different mask. We might see a little different gear. I don't think the gear will change a ton, but I feel like we're very likely to see a different change in mask or appearance there. It'll certainly be interesting, because you know Bray in the past has worked with horror icons such as Tom Savini to craft his look, and also craft the belt, the Universal Championship belt that Fiend had when he was champion, that he created for himself. So I see Tom Savini probably playing a role in that new appearance, and I'm really excited, because I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. I think that's the most likeliest of options, but I'm so curious to see what he looks like coming back, and if we'll see any like burns, or we'll see any like burn makeup done on his arms or his back, because that's where he was burned. So I'm really curious to see if he comes back with an appearance change. And then the third and final possibility, which seems to be the least likely to me, is that Bray comes back and he completely splits from the Fiend character. While he still may have an alter ego, and he still might have an evil alter ego that like comes out and does these outlandish things, it may not be called the Fiend. He may look completely different. His character might be completely different. I find this to be unlikely, because the gimmick is already over with fans. It sells tons of merch. I feel like they've seen that there's a formula that works here, so I find it unlikely that he comes back and completely changes character, but I feel like you can't rule it out because Bray is always the type of guy, or, you know, Wyndham in real life is always the type of guy who's always trying to be creative. And I think he's very receptive to when an angle may be kind of old, like he was with the Buzzards Bray, the cult leader Bray. But I don't think that that's where this angle is right now. I think people are still clamoring for more, and I still think people really like this angle, and it's definitely not gotten tired in the minds of the majority of the WWE universe. So while I find that to be the least unlikely, I feel like you just can't rule it out at this point. Alright, and that's all we had for today's edition of Around Wrasslin. I'm really excited to see what is in store for the Fiend. They've been building this up for, it seems like, forever. You know, and you get these tiny little snippets of Alexa on Raw to just tide us over, you know, but I'm really excited to see where it goes. And one last reminder, if you could please subscribe if you like this content, and check out my other content. I like doing a lot of unboxings, so make sure to check that out. We'll have some Elimination Chamber predictions coming later on today, so make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to see that content. And leave a like on this video too, that really helps me out so I can curate my content around those likes. And also leave me a comment, what do you think is next for the Fiend? Do you think there will be some kind of appearance change? Do you think he'll change character, or do you think he'll be the same? You know, I could completely be exposed by this in the next couple months as being completely wrong, because I think it's really anyone's guess at this point. But thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.